All right, it's 6 o'clock, everybody. I'd like to acknowledge this meeting is taking place on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples. Tamtamaocton, or Belcarra, is home to an ancestral village of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation. We are thankful to conduct our work within their territory. I will call the public hearing to order. Before we get started, this is a relatively new platform, especially for some people. And if you have a question, I want to ensure that you understand the protocol. And if you have a question would like to be added to the speakers list, please click on the participant icon at the bottom of your screen. If you move, you'll see that toolbar open up on the bottom of your screen. The raise hand icon, a blue hand, will indicate that you wish to speak. You will be called upon in the order of which your hand is raised. Lorna, would you like to provide the background, please, for the meeting?
Yes, Your Worship. I would like to advise that this public hearing notice appeared in the September 3rd and September 10th issues of the Tri-City newspaper. There was a report on July 20th, 2020 to Council from the Chief Administrative Officer establishing the date for the public hearing regarding the Village of Belcarra official community plan. And the Village of Belcarra official community plan, bylaw number 435, 2011, amendment bylaw number 566, 2020.
Thank you. Now I have a very long speech to do associated with a public hearing speech, so I apologize in advance, everybody. This public hearing is being held pursuant to Section 464 of the Local Government Act to consider and receive submissions regarding the proposed Village of Belcarra official community plan bylaw number 435, 2011, amendment bylaw number 566, 2020. All persons present who believe that their interest in property is affected by the proposed bylaw will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard, make representation, or to present a written submission respecting matters contained within the proposed bylaw. People who pre-registered and are on the speakers list will speak first. Put your hand up on the Zoom webinar to join the speakers list during the public hearing. When called on, you need to state your full name and address for the record, please. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions of you following your presentation. The function of council members during the public hearing is to listen to the views of the public. It is not the function of this council at this time to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw. After the public hearing has concluded, council may, without further notice, give whatever effect council believes proper to the representations made. Your only opportunity to comment on the proposed bylaw will be during the public hearing, as members of council are not permitted to receive further submissions after the hearing is closed. Everyone will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this hearing. No one will be discouraged or prevented from making their views heard. Written submissions during the meeting will be available on the website the day following the meeting so that everybody may examine these documents. To maintain order and to ensure everybody has a reasonable opportunity to be heard, the following rules of procedure have been established. A speakers list has been established. If you wish to address the public hearing, please ensure that you place your name on the speakers list. You may add your name to the list at any time by using the raise hand function on the Zoom webinar. If you are speaking from prepared remarks, please send a copy by email to the Chief Administrative Officer, Lorna L. Dissart at belcarra.ca. Also, please commence your remarks by stating your name and address. If you are speaking on behalf of some other person or organization, please also identify the name of that person or organization you are representing. Each speaker is requested to limit their remarks to no more than 5 minutes, and you will be timed, subject to raising your hand to add your name to the speakers list again. Your comments must be specifically related to the subject of the bylaw and be directed to the mayor, and you must not obstruct the public hearing. It is requested that all speakers be civil, respectful of others, and ensure your comments address the specific issue being considered. After everybody on the speakers list has spoken once, speakers will be allowed one supplementary presentation if they have added their name to the list again. You may not present a submission you have already made. Please observe these rules, and if you have any concerns with the manner in which the public hearing is conducted, please direct your comments to Mayor Belinkie. Lorna, has any correspondence been received?
Yes, Your Worship. One letter was received from Metro Vancouver stating that they have no objection to the bylaw amendment.
Thank you. All right, so I'll take this chance now to introduce Richard White, planning consultant, who will provide an overview of the proposed OCP bylaw amendment. Please go ahead, Richard.
Thank you, Your Worship, members of council, staff, and members of the public. We have been asked by the Village of Belcarra to produce an amendment to the official community plan to enable the new processes that have been established by the Port of Vancouver to provide for private docks, group docks, and individual docks, to enable those to be established in the municipality, in the village. And this is fairly straightforward, with the exception of the Belcarra Bay area, Bedwell Bay area in the village, which has a intervening piece of municipal property. And over the years, Marine Avenue, which is that piece of property, has been enabling the municipality to provide for people to have, upland owners to have dock access. And we've looked into the current official community plan, and we've looked at the new municipal regulations that are established through the Port of Vancouver to have docks. And for the most part, the port, even though there's a long hiatus, a moratorium, there is the new port regulations are very accommodating for private docks, private recreational docks. And the port has established a process, and they're going through that new process with all the municipalities that have access to the water, to the Burrard Inlet waterfront. And the port has jurisdiction below that high water mark. So the municipalities border on the port, but they have no jurisdiction in the salt water where the salt water rises. So the docks have that are established now, and the docks that may be established in the future, have to be permitted through the Port of Vancouver, the Port of Vancouver, the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority, which is the new name. So any number of things have to be changed in our rules and regulations to provide for that. Even the new names of the various agencies involved have to be provided for, or in some cases deleted. So what we've suggested to the municipality, and you'll see it in the material that's been provided to you ahead of time, is a new bylaw that will amend the official community plan. It's called bylaw number 435. And it basically takes out of the existing OCP those rules and regulations that were referenced in a document called the Bedwell Bay Sustainability Plan. And that document was prepared prior to the most current plan, and well prior to the establishment of the moratorium that the port has had for over a decade. And so what we suggested, and in addition, I guess, more recently, the municipalities also decided to do an update to the official community plan. So there's a number of things that have changed since the Bedwell Bay Sustainability Plan was put in effect. And what we suggested is removing the Bedwell Bay Sustainability Plan regulations, which for the most part addressed things like a variety of things that happen primarily below high water mark, where the municipality has no particular jurisdiction in any event. That's where the port has jurisdiction. And what we suggested is removing the existing policies, replacing it with a broader statement, which is part of the new bylaw and would be added to the plan if council agrees to proceed with the amendments as proposed and being reviewed tonight in the public hearing. And these policies basically state that the village looks forward to working with the port to establish personal or private and group docks within the Bedwell Bay area. And we will be, we being the village, will be using the new residential wharf regulations to guide village residents with property upland of Marine Avenue who may wish to build or repair docks. And preference will be given to group wharfages. This is in the new draft OCP verbiage, consistent with the port and village regulations is amended from time to time. So, Your Worship, this is basically a revision to the OCP to provide for the establishment of new wharf regulations and to renew existing wharfs based on the new Port of Vancouver Port Authority rules and regulations. And that's more or less all I have to say. I'm here to respond to any questions that may be asked or to address comments that members of the public may have.
Thank you, Richard. So we will move to speakers, and aside from the letter from Metro Vancouver, we have no written submissions. So if anybody would like to comment, again, I will remind everybody that it needs to be only directed towards the OCP amendment. Any questions or comments, please go to the participants tab and raise your hand. I'm not seeing anyone who'd like to make a comment. Oh, we have one hand up. John, John, you'll need to identify yourself with your full name and your address, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. What's your name and address, please?
Thank you. This is John Shulestani for 3762 Marine Avenue.
Go ahead, John.
I have a question regarding the purpose of the proposed amendment. The purpose reads to amend the official community plan to bring the OCP into compliance for the acceptance of new dock applications in the highway encroachment area on Marine Avenue and Sink Road. And my question is, we haven't received any guidance or guidelines regarding new dock applications and how the rights of the upland owners on Marine Avenue and St. Clair Roads are protected in this process. Would you please comment on that, please? Thank you.
Richard, would you like to comment? We have to stick to what the OCP amendment is, obviously, that we are focused on in this hearing.
Your Worship, as I understand the question, it pertains to rules and regulations that the municipality may bring into force and effect. Those will be pursued after the OCP is adopted. Until that time, we were working with the existing OCP and the old port rules and regulations. But Your Worship, it's going to be a pretty straightforward process. It's primarily the rules will be established through the port, and we will not be administering them. The port will be. They have a modernized set of rules and regulations involved with a review of the port. The port will review any application for use of the water from an environmental perspective, from an archaeological perspective, from an engineering perspective. The foundations and so on will have to be produced in a certain way. And those rules and regulations are already out there in a general way. There's material on the Port of Vancouver website for that. And I also spoke with, and so did the Chief Administrative Officer, spoke with the Port of Vancouver leading up to this public hearing, and they referred people to the website, but they're also available to answer questions.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
So as a follow-up to that, I just want to make sure that I understood the municipal planner.
So John, this is John Shulestani. What's your address again, please, John, for your second question?
Sure, this is just a follow-up question. The address again, 3762 Marine Avenue, regarding that property. And my question is, so to my understanding from Richard is that Belcarra does not have jurisdiction over the foreshore, so there is no guidelines from Belcarra that's going to apply for dock applications. That's why this OCP does not concern regarding any dock applications to the village of Belcarra. So everything will be processed through the port, if I understood correctly.
I'm not sure if this is consistent with what the public forum is about. Richard, you want to probably provide any comments just attached to what the public forum is focused on?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Your Worship. This is setting the stage for the next step of that council may choose to make. Once this is adopted, the changes will be easier to bring about, and they will be reflected, I think, by in the new port rules and regulations. But this particular bylaw doesn't deal with that.
Thank you. Ken's iPad. Ken, you'll need to provide your full name as well as your address, please.
Hi, Ken Jellings, 4140 Marine Avenue in Belcarra.
Thanks, Ken. Go ahead.
So we're on Bedwell Bay. Our dock is incorporated under the Cooperative Association of BC. My question is, what impact will this changes to the bylaw have on our ownership or access to the dock going forward?
That again, I think is outside of the scope. Richard, would you like to comment?
I agree, Your Worship. This change will have no impact on those current rules and regulations. And the Societies Act is a completely different thing, again, which the municipality has no control over.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, there are only 2 comments allowed. So John Shilistani, you've used your 2 questions. Are there any other questions, any other public input? I'll ask again, is there any further public input? And as we have one, Ben, would you like to provide your full name and address, Ben? Ben, would you like to provide your full name and address?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead, your full name and address, please.
Thank you, Mayor Belenki. This is Ben Shulestani from 3762 Marine Avenue.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Belenki. I just wanted to, I feel for the record, I wanted to read from the village bylaw 411. I think it's relevant.
Sorry, Ben, that is not what we're here to talk about today. You must stick to the actual OCP amendment that's proposed. Any conversation, comments must be directed at the proposal of the OCP amendment.
Yes, so I wanted to, so, okay, maybe I first ask a question. Are the existing bylaws and procedures of the village?
Is there anything else to ask?
Can you hear me okay?
Go ahead, Ben.
Thank you. I want to know the existing bylaws and procedures of the village. Are they still applicable to the to this OCP amendment or not?
Ben, that's again off topic. We are here to discuss specifically about the modification to the Bedwell Bay Sustainability Plan and the OCP verbiage that you see in the proposed motion.
So if I understand you correctly, what you are saying is that basically this is just an amendment to the OCP and then the bylaws, the procedures and the requirements, all those are coming later on, and then you will have another public hearing for those. Is that correct?
All of the other discussion will happen at another time. Today is a public hearing only about the OCP amendment that's proposed on the agenda.
So will you have another public?
That would be, so you have a second question, Ben? Ben, if you have a second question, you can go ahead and we can, I assume we can take your address from your previous question. Ben, go ahead and ask your second question. We've lost Ben. So I'll begin again. Is there any further public input? Is there any further public input? And I'm required to say this 3 times. I know it's repetitive. Is there any further public input? All right. If I can get someone to move the item, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Lisa. Seconded by Carolina. That all written and verbal submissions regarding Village of Beaucaire Official Community Plan OCP Bylaw 435, 2011, Amendment Bylaw number 566, 2020, up to and including September 14th, 2020 be received. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Motion carried. All right, I'd like to call for adjournment or closure. Can I get someone to move the item, please?
Sure.
Lisa and Carolina, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, everybody, we have some time before the 7 o'clock public council meeting. We look forward to seeing you all again in about 40 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.